Hey guys, it's Kira and welcome to another What I Eat in a Day. As always, all of the recipes I'll be sharing here are completely vegan, and today they are also all autumn themed recipes because autumn is my favourite time of year, and one of the best things about this season in my opinion is all of the lovely, warming, cosy and delicious foods, so I wanted to make a video completely dedicated to my favourite season. So starting out with breakfast, I had one of my most common breakfasts. I have a variation of this almost every day, and that is a yoghurt bowl with some granola and then some kind of warm fruit on top. So today, because I was feeling super autumnal, I went for an apple cinnamon granola bowl, and so I chopped up some apples and added them into a pan along with quite a lot of cinnamon, because you can never have too much cinnamon in my opinion, and a little bit of my protein butterscotch syrup. I then popped that with just a little bit of water on the hob and just cooked it until it was all soft and caramelized and delicious. I then popped my favourite yoghurt into a bowl. I don't think I've done a single What I Eat in a Day without this yoghurt, but it is the Alpro vanilla Greek style yoghurt, and it is so delicious. So I popped a good portion of that into a bowl, topped it off with the lovely stewed cinnamon apples, which just smelt absolutely incredible, and then I added on some of this spoon mapley, cinnamony, pecan-y granola, which is delicious and so autumnal, and just made the most wonderful combination. And then pretty much every single meal I eat comes alongside a cup of tea, but especially in autumn and winter when it's cold outside, I just think having that lovely warm drink alongside your meal just makes it all the more cozy, and I always make my teas with a spoonful of sugar and also some oat milk. In my opinion, the best way to have tea. And that was my absolutely wonderful breakfast. It's such a great meal because it has kind of everything you could possibly want. It of course tastes delicious, which is the most important thing, but it's also a really great combo of like carbs and fats and protein, so it really does keep you full all morning, and like I said, tastes absolutely incredible, which is exactly what you want on a cold morning. When it came to lunchtime, I decided to notch up on the autumnalness a little bit more by making some pumpkin pie waffles. So to start with, I added in some vegan vanilla protein powder and some buckwheat flour into a bowl alongside some almond milk, and I just whisked that all up, gradually adding a little bit more liquid at a time just until I got a thick batter in the consistency that I wanted. Had to give it quite a good stir, but because I was making waffles rather than pancakes, I really didn't want to add too much liquid because you do want it to be quite a thick batter, so I just add it a tiny bit at a time until you get that perfect consistency where it kind of like drops off the spoon. I then added in 2 tablespoons of pumpkin puree, which just gave it this lovely beautiful orangey autumnal colour, and obviously added in this like nice sweet pumpkin-y flavour. I then topped in with a lot of cinnamon. Like I said, you can never have too much, a little bit of mixed spice, and then also slightly more ginger than I actually meant to put in, but it all worked out in the end, and then just mix that all together until you end up with this delicious pumpkin pie flavoured waffle mix. I then popped that onto my waffle iron. Interestingly, I think adding the pumpkin into the mixture made it slightly cakier, so the waffles kind of stuck together and then didn't quite want to come out, which doesn't usually happen, but I managed to get them out in the end and ended up with 4 absolutely delicious looking waffles, which I was just desperate to eat. I ended up topping the waffles with a little bit more of the vanilla yogurt that I use for breakfast, just because I feel like it goes so well with everything, but especially pancakes and waffles. I just feel like the vanilla yogurt just feels like you're adding something so luxurious and creamy. I then went in with some figs, which are a fruit that I definitely don't eat often enough, but I saw one in the shops the other day when I was picking up a few items and it just called out to me, so I got it, and it ended up being the perfect addition to this autumnal waffle recipe. And honestly, they just look so beautiful, so I definitely am going to be buying more figs. I added on a little sprinkle of granola, mostly just for aesthetic purposes, and then some syrup, and that was lunch ready to go. This was definitely the highlight of my eating day. It was so delicious, so autumnal, and again a really nice combo of all of your like fats, proteins and carbs to keep you full all the way through until dinner. When it did get to dinner time, I just wanted something really simple, but also really like warming and cozy because it had been a really rainy day outside. So I ended up using the rest of the can of pumpkin puree that I opened up for my waffles at lunchtime to make a pumpkin soup. So starting off with just the pumpkin puree, I then added in a lot of nutritional yeast. You really can't add too much to this recipe, I don't think. And then a cup of vegetable stock. I threw in some yellow split peas just for some texture and also some protein, and then I also started just throwing in basically every single herb I could find in the cupboard. So there was like rosemary, mixed spice, garlic, sage, basil, pretty much everything that I could see that was green and smelled good. And then I just mixed all of that together, popped it on the hob and cooked it for about 25 minutes. Once it was nearly done, I threw in a couple of handfuls of spinach, just again for a little bit of extra green goodness, and again just to kind of like mix up those textures, add a few different bits in. And then I also popped some toast in the toaster, some delicious sourdough. This is the handcrafted sourdough from Marks and Spencer's, and it is literally the best bread ever. So good. Jay and I are addicted and kind of go through at least 2 loaves a week, but you know, that's okay. Once that toast was ready and the soup was all good to go, I topped off my bread with some hummus and also some Marmite. It is literally my favourite combination on sourdough, especially with something like soup. I know it's not a combination that everyone will love, but I personally think it is so delicious because you've got the creaminess of the hummus and then the really savoury flavour of Marmite, and it's just so good. And then paired with that lovely warming soup, this was literally the perfect dinner for an autumn day. It felt really luxurious and really filling, but also took absolutely no time at all or effort to make. It was super easy. And then to finish off my day of eating, I ended up making myself a lovely hot chocolate. So I just used the Cadbury's hot chocolate powder, which is accidentally vegan, not the one that is just add water, but the one that you add to milk is just basically cocoa powder and sugar. So I made that with oat milk. I topped it off with some vegan whipped cream and also some of the Dandy's pumpkin marshmallows, which I came across very recently and I'm now addicted to, and it was the perfect and most autumnal way to finish my day. So I hope you've enjoyed seeing all of the cozy and autumnal recipes that I made on this really chilly autumn day. I definitely enjoyed eating them. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.